The FOGSI recommends giving COVID vaccine to pregnancy lactating mothers, while our union ministry does not recommend. How do we go about this? And perhaps Dr. Nadeau would like to try and explain that. I think she actually might have disconnected a little bit. Perhaps Dr. Subramanian, any thoughts on this? This was an important question. We actually noted this one as one of our important questions to answer. So thank you for bringing this up now.
Sure, and thanks to the Minister of Health for the question. And yeah, I mean, we feel that it's important to try to vaccinate pregnant women. So far, in the studies that have been done in mRNA vaccines, it does appear safe. And you know, pregnant women are at risk for severe disease and worse outcomes of the pregnancy. So anything we can do to protect pregnant women that's safe for them, we'd like to go ahead. And so far, it does seem that vaccination is a good idea. Some of the vaccines haven't yet been studied in pregnancy, so it's a risk benefit, but we really think that the benefits outweigh the risk. And we think that lactating women, you know, do have an advantage when if they're vaccinated, because they give the antibody protection to their newborn infants. So there is protection that they're transferring. We've had at Stanford many good outcomes from pregnancy, and we've had patients deliver their babies without problems, without getting COVID in the infant or having any complications. So, you know, it can be a positive experience.
Dr. Nadeau, can you comment a little bit about, so you've been for the last year teaching us about vaccines, particularly the ones available to us. Can you comment a little bit about vaccines in general, perhaps also the ones that are currently available in India, the ones that are expected to be available as well in the near future?
We want everyone to get vaccinated. India has 4 vaccines now that have been approved in your country. That's excellent. And most importantly is make sure that you get them and that they're accessible to all of you and your families. And so the vaccines that are there in India right now are the 4 are AstraZeneca, which is available in 148 countries, including India. Covishield, which is available in many countries, including India. Covaxin, only available in India right now. And then Sputnik 5, which is available in 35 countries. Sputnik 5 was just approved and available in India today. So I think that's excellent that you have these choices. Every single one of them has shown good and excellent effect against COVID. And there are variants, and I know a lot of you have had questions about that, but importantly is any vaccine is going to be better than no vaccine against any variant. And why is that important? That's because, as Dr. Rohatgi mentioned, that we have already many pieces of data to show that vaccines can give you protection, and that level of protection can at least keep you out of the hospital. And that's what we're all trying to do. A little mild infection is fine. The rate of getting COVID after vaccination is only 0.007%. So vaccines are critical, and people really need to get them to be able to help their health. You can take them when you're pregnant, you can take them when you're lactating, and importantly is, as of yesterday and Monday, they have been shown to be effective against the India variant. The India variant is called B.1.617, and it's highly infectious. And for that reason, everyone in India should also get vaccinated. But luckily, the vaccines have helped that variant.
And Dr. Nadeau, thank you for that. And we had lots of people wondering those very questions. There's a theme of some questions. So a lot of the physicians are working hard to make sure everybody understands that vaccines are helpful. Any potential risks are much higher not getting the vaccine than getting it. And then families and patients who message as well are asking that question. What can you tell to physicians in India? What advice would you give them to help spread this message that you just gave about how valuable it is to get a vaccine?
Yes, I I think that in the very beginning, and of course, as we're all talking about, and what India is dealing with right now are very acute COVID cases that are overwhelming the hospital system, overwhelming the population. But what we have also been seeing in China, in Korea, in the US, in countries around the globe is the burden of long-term COVID. And we have now people in the US now a year later that have long-term issues. So we can't forget about the burden of disease and that we should not be cavalier. We do not even want asymptomatic or mild disease if we can try to prevent it with the vaccine, because the long-term consequences are, I believe, also very burdensome to one individual and to the public health system. And people have cognitive issues, they're very tired, they can have breathing issues. Dr. Barman has been taking care of these patients, as well as Dr. Subramanian and others. So we've learned a lot, as well as our global colleagues, but I just want to really stress that taking the vaccine can also very likely prevent those long-term symptoms as well as acute symptoms. So it's good for both. And many people ask, well, if I already got COVID, do I really need the vaccines? And yes, absolutely, you should get the vaccine. And if you got COVID, that doesn't necessarily mean you're protected. And even if you got the vaccine at this current time, you should still wear a mask. You should still stay 6 feet away as much as you can to get away from people that could have an infection, because that helps the community as well.
Dr. Nadeau, there was a lot of comments on how people are getting COVID around the time they get their first vaccine. One, it has been to clarify, it is not, of course, related to the vaccine. There's been some concern that people are going out and being around people and getting COVID just coincidentally when they get the vaccine. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just a coincidence, but most importantly is to get the vaccine. The best vaccine is the one in your arm. So please know that I know we tend to try to convince people that maybe one is better than the other. It doesn't matter, just get the one. All of the vaccines right now have been better than 60% effective, which is what we were shooting for last year this time. So I think you have some great vaccines in India. They should be used without any hesitation. And even if people are on medications, immunosuppressive medications, cancer medications, we are still vaccinating people like that in the US. And that's important. Even any sense of immunity, any extent of immunity is better than nothing.
There's a lot of questions about asking which is the best vaccine for me. You just said the best one's the one in your arm. That seems to me that any vaccine someone can get, they should get it and not wait for another one. Moving on.
And even if you, one other point, sorry, if you have to wait longer, if it's not possible, if you have a longer time period between the first and second, it's okay, go ahead and get your second.
Yes.
You still will get very good responses.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. There were some questions about side effects of the vaccine. I can say, after having taken care of many people who got the vaccine, the side effects do not affect the efficacy of the vaccine. And we expect people to get fevers and headache and aches after the vaccine. That is okay to have. And we want to make sure people know that the risk-benefit, the benefit is way far better than the risk of the side effects that are very temporary, and they do not affect the efficacy of the vaccine. And if you get the vaccine and you have no side effects, you can still have the vaccine work. So that's very important. And the risk of any major side effects is very, very, very small.